Hey everyone, I hope everybody had some good holidays. Russia is sending communication comms to the United States. They're threatening to release what's behind the drones. They're threatening to release the projects of advanced military weapons. So there's panic inside the Pentagon, inside of DC. What happens if another country releases advanced technology? This will show that United States isn't a superpower. United States didn't have the power to release the technology. So it'll create a lot of confusion. A lot of people will lose trust in the United States. So right now, Russia is threatening to release advanced super technology. These are connected to plasma. This is connected to drones, connected to infinite energy, and there's panic inside of the Pentagon. So all of these projects right now, these different projects from the deep state to white hats operations, controlling drones, controlling a lot of these operations, they're all coming out. These are disclosure projects, and Russia is ensuring that the United States keeps its promise from the white hats, that the white hats will get to releasing the information on disclosure projects of super advanced technology. So we're all headed in this direction. So you have to know that a lot of these drones, these orbs are coming up from New York, that's being spotted in New Jersey through Pennsylvania. This is all connected to the underground military base and also the advanced technology that they have under there. That's why Hunter Biden has a tattoo on his back of the Five Finger Lakes. I've been telling you for a long time, the Five Finger Lakes, they have a military base underneath. There's a lot of human trafficking that's going on, but they have a huge, gigantic underground base, and I believe there's 3 underground bases that are there that are all connected, but one of them has been captured by white hats, and these are what the earthquakes that took place about 2.5 years ago through the whole regions was capturing one of the underground bases. People still don't understand underground tunnels, underground networks, underground maglifs, and it's even harder for people to understand submarines that travel underneath the United States, underneath the deep oceans, and then some of the tunnels that were created. If you understand of how tunnels are made, tunnel boring technology, they've created tunnels that go underneath the oceans, even from France all the way into England. You have these long tunnels that are like over 30 miles long, and you can fit submarines through them. So these same tunnel systems, they have more advanced way of going through underneath the earth, and they have these systems that use nuclear energy to melt the rocks, and they make these huge, gigantic tunnels. So some of these tunnel systems are flooded with waters, and they're moving subs that move underneath them. So this is all connected back to New York City, from the Five Finger Lakes over to New York City. And we're going to get into this month. We're going to get into what the real story is behind the Montauk Project, the Philadelphia experience. This has to do with time travel, it has to do with infinite energy. It has to do with a lot of technology, advanced technology, and the operations that are happening on Long Island in New York City. So these advanced military operations that are connected to New York, that's connected to these drones, it's all connected to Five Finger Lakes. And that's why Hunter Biden has the tattoo on his back. That's because he knows about the military bases that's underneath the water there. He knows his father had operations there. They're connected to child trafficking. They're connected to other nefarious things as the weapons trades, the drug trade that's going into Canada. Then it's connected to other military operations that go up north of Canada. So these huge operations are big. As we get closer towards disclosure. This is connected to the Montauk Project that I'm telling you about on Long Island. And this is all connected to a place that's called Brookhaven. This is an important national lab. These are where a lot of projects took place, from the Phoenix projects to the human projects, mind control, placing thoughts into minds. And they were using all of these electrical frequencies, to control the mind. They were controlling visions of a human, and they can actually create monsters. They can actually create 3D, almost like real 3D, what you would see. It's not just an illusion like a hologram, but these are live holograms that can be touched. You can actually see them. You can actually touch them, but they last only for a few moments, these live holograms. So what you saw in Miami 2 years ago about the alien that was part of the Montauk Projects, that alien that existed just for a few minutes, that was at the Miami Mall, and everybody got to see this for a while. That was actually off the Montauk Projects. There's a reason why the deep state is always giving you crumbs. And if you watch the TV show Stranger Things, this is all giving you hints about what's really connected to these Montauk Projects, to the Philadelphia experience. And these are connected to underground bases that go all the way up to Five Finger Lakes. These operations are important of how these disclosure projects are coming forward, because this is going to expose the real truth about teleportation, about wormholes, about super advanced technology. Everything that's happening right now is coming out in a way that it's all going to be proven that the military is hiding technology. Right now, it was intentional that the FBI, their fly fleets, they have helicopters, airplanes that track anything that's inside the United States that could be a national threat, even Department of Homeland Security, and then there's a lot of other special forces. If there's a threat inside the United States, they're the one who fly airplanes, helicopters. They have their own drones that can get the military footage, get in contact with some of these orbs, these drones that are actually going over military bases. They're actually going over airports, shutting them down. But somebody is telling these operations at FBI to stand down. They're telling these military operations to stand down. The deep state is intentionally letting all of these operations that have flight operations to go after these drones to stand down. So that's why Kash Patel is really important. That's why Trump is giving you comms that he's telling you. He knows what this is. The military, the white hats know what's going on, because this is going to start going towards disclosure. This is going to start exposing these dark operations. But the whole end game to this is showing you a new world of advanced technology that's coming. That's why people are confused right now with what Musk is doing with the H-1B, of what's happening with that, with all the immigrants. This is really important, what Musk is doing, the reason why Trump is agreeing with Musk. You have to keep understanding the real truth. It's not Musk, it's not Trump, it's the military operations that's behind them, that's pushing this powerful, important agenda. The reason why they're going to allow this to happen is because it's connected to India. Because India has 25% of the world engineers. They're second in the software engineers in the world that they have and that they create in the whole world. India is the number one exporter of IT service in the whole world with BPO. That means business process outsourcing. So there was a lot of panic from the Pentagon, from the white hats. There was a lot of panic from the financial industries inside the United States. even connected over to the deep state and connected also to the white hats. Whether it's the white hats or the black hats inside the United States military, they're afraid of India because of India's population, because of their engineers, because they're going to become the next superpower in the world and they're going to surpass China. These operations of where Trump is going to capture the India engineers, and they're going to capture these operations for a reason. With Musk, they're going to capture them is because they're building a huge, gigantic financial system inside the United States. They have to have these engineers, they have to have these ITs, these software developers, these software engineers. They have to capture them, and they also need them inside the United States workforce. Because right now in the United States, this woke movement that is part of the millennials and then part of Generation Z, corporations don't want to hire them. They're not interested in becoming these powerful engineers. The education system in the United States isn't comparable to how much India is producing of engineers in the whole world. So that's why it's really important to capture those operations quickly so India doesn't use all of those engineers to create military weapons, to create a world superpower. That's why the United States is capturing this for several reasons, but it's actually connected to creating that financial system that the United States is going after. The cryptocurrency that's going to control a whole global superpower. This is connected to why that Trump, Musk, they're going to bring in a lot of people from India, these engineers, and they're going to capture these operations and they're going to use it for the good of the United States. And this is actually behind the scenes. These plans were already initiated by Modi. Yes, this comes from Modi. These came with military talks. These came behind operations that were already set, because Modi on his side, he also wants to take his deep state apart. They're scared of the India deep state that can take over the world, that has a huge, gigantic human trafficking problem. There's a drug problem, human trafficking, money laundering system of why people are poor. There's huge deep state operations inside of India that's connected to globalism. So these operations to capture the India engineers to help build so quickly that we need these engineers in the next 3 and 4 years to hurry to build this United States superstructure, this superpower, financial power system. But then all of these huge, gigantic databases that's going to run the coming advanced technology that's going to be released. So you're seeing Trump, Musk, they're setting up to release, they're setting up to bring this closure of advanced technology. These advanced technologies, we're going to need a lot of people to be working on them, software developers. We're going to need a lot of the top scientists, even from India, to be coming into the United States to work with the United States, and they're going to get paid properly, and they're going to create a strong united front of white hats between United States white hats and between the white hats inside of India. This is a global operations that's happening behind the scenes. You're only looking at the small little things of these orbs, of all of these little things that are happening. But behind the scenes, it's about advanced technology, what's underneath the earth. It's about infinite energy. It's about 0-point energy, Tesla energy. This is highly classified information that's going to start leaking into the public of what's really happening with Project Bluebeam. The military doesn't really call it Project Bluebeam. They have other names that they call this 278 operations. They have a lot of different names for Project Bluebeam, but in the military side, they don't really call it Project Bluebeam. That was just leaked to the public sector for a certain reason, to see how the information was going to move. That's connected back in the old days to Project Blue Book. to the UFOs and then how that became UAPs. This is actually for the public sector to use these words in a certain way because they're tracking it. They're tracking all the data, the sources of how people use these words. So you're only getting a small insight into what's really happening behind the scenes. Don't let, the deep state, the Democrats, the neocons, these Republican news agencies that are neocon news outlets, don't let them confuse you that there's a division between Trump, there's a division between Musk. These are deep state operations that are in panic as Trump is building a gigantic world superpower, a gigantic financial system. And behind it, Russia is pushing to ensure that the disclosure projects come through. The United States must bring out the disclosure projects or else Russia will do it. And the United States doesn't want that.